the Sandy Cheeks movie. Oh god, this movie. I really enjoyed the SpongeBob movies. Not so much the third one. I plan to review them whenever the fourth one gets closer. But this movie's not great. I was excited about this movie because again I enjoyed the SpongeBob movies, and honestly I rewatched a lot of SpongeBob earlier this year, and what it made me realize is that even though people hate modern SpongeBob, it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. There's gags that would occasionally make me laugh and stuff. Not as good as the original era of SpongeBob, and I just really enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed Camp Coral. I know some people didn't like that show. I hated the Patrick Star show. Hated it. Can't watch that shit. But other than that, I really just enjoy SpongeBob. And so, I don't know. I was curious what they were going to do with the Sandy Cheeks movie. This isn't really the form I expected it to take, but I went to go watch it on Netflix. And good God, I'm glad it was on Netflix because if I paid to see this in a theater, man, I'd be pissed. I do not like this movie. First of all, I think the biggest problem with this movie is even though the SpongeBob movies at their worst, at least were pretty to look at, this one is shitty to look at. I mean, it is absolutely ugly to look at. They're like sometimes the animation goes from being decent to just god awfully ugly, where at best the animation feels like cutscenes from one of the Nicktoons video games, and then at worst just disgusting to look at. I really don't want to be too mean because it's clear what happened here is that the people who animated on this thing probably did the best they could, right? But they were probably stretched way too thin because of the fact that this is a Netflix movie and they probably didn't give them that much budget for it. So I think animation wise they did the best they could for what they were giving, right? So I'm not blaming the animators or anybody involved with the fucking project. I'm blaming the fucking people who didn't give them the money and resources to actually make what they're telling them to make. You want to have all these shots of like live action humans mixed together with these fucking shit like this, but then they don't do that. I don't know. It's just bad. And I also just find this movie so weird. Like it's built as this grand adventure where Sandy goes to Texas to save the Bikini Bottom, right? But it just kind of happens, and then the movie just starts, and I really don't care too much about SpongeBob plots, right? Because it's not what you go to these things for. You go for the gags, and but it felt like okay, well maybe there should have been some better focusing on this, and then the gags aren't funny, so it just makes me think about the plot, and when the plot isn't working and the gags aren't working, it just makes this movie just a nothing experience, like where I'm not aggravated at it, I'm just really bored. Like I don't really care about anything happening, any of the characters. At most I had some fun with some of Sandy's family members. I thought some of the like surprise guest stars they had coming here, like Craig Robinson voices one of them. You had Johnny Knoxville voice one of them, which was really cool to see. That's cool. I like seeing that. That's great, but it wasn't enough to save this movie. It was just really boring. I think if your kid loves SpongeBob, okay, like you don't need to show them everything fucking SpongeBob. You can show them the good stuff from SpongeBob, like, or you could just, I don't know. I guess if your kid loves SpongeBob, you watch this shit with them, but it's just very forgettable, very boring, and I don't even know if they'll remember it after watching it because it is such a nothing movie, and I really don't care for it. So I don't even know what to think of this movie. I'm hoping the Plankton one that they're working on will be better, but I really don't know. And honestly, also, I feel like the Plankton movie might just be a rehash of the second one, the second SpongeBob movie. Like, kind of had an arc in that movie, Is that what we're just gonna do for the second one? I don't know.